That V10 sound is just screaming hot. Welcome back to another McLodo video in iRacing. This time in the Lamborghini Huràcan GT3 Evo. It's a V10 and it's just 5.2 liters. It's just amazing. The sound is just amazing. It's a little bit harder to drive, I think, than maybe a Ferrari or a BMW, but very rewarding. It's just really pure fun. The city is Oulton Park, British racetrack. It's actually a little bit too tight for GT3s, and you can see that especially on the pit lanes. There's not enough space for the cars, but still it's pure fun to drive on the track. I think it's really amazing just driving, but not if you have to race or overtake. That makes it a little bit hard, and there are a lot of incidents happening here, especially when people get too near or they take maybe bad lanes, drive next to each other like here. And I managed to qualify 10th. Didn't have a perfect round, which was an okay round, but not as fast as it could go, but that's fine. So now I'm just trying to put in some laps, get along and go over the 40 minutes. It's of course a long race, especially on a track like this.
The gap in front is now 1.7 seconds.
And I just kind of try to avoid any contact and to move as a pack. I think the issue on this track is also if you're slow or get caught by a faster car, it puts a lot of pressure on you. If they drive near and if they try to overtake, it's a risk. And yeah, I'm trying to avoid it by just keeping with the pack or trying to follow the pack. I've also gained a bit of iRating in the last race, so I was almost at 1.3k. Sorry, 1.3k. That means that
Stork is now in the lead.
The drivers are faster now. The SOF, that means strength of field. The average of drivers is 1.372, I think, in this race, which is higher than my iRating. So yeah, it should be a good race with faster drivers, not like the other races where it was fairly easy to get into the top 5. Top 5 is clearly they're faster than me, and these are more experienced drivers. I just try to hang on, and get a good result. I guess I need to be above place 15 to get positive iRating. And because my iRating is lower than most of the drivers around me or in front of me, then the gain is actually okay. And
the gap behind has now decreased to 0.5.
And it also shows, if I can keep up with them, that it's that I should have this iRating. I hope I will also gain with experience and get faster also. But I can also see here, I'm driving the Lamborghini. I have to get used to it. It's not as forgiving as a Ferrari, as I said before, but I feel the cornering. It's kind of, if you get used to it, it's rewarding, fun, and yeah, it's a quick car. I think maybe not as quick as the Audi, but I guess maybe also slightly easier to drive, and certainly than the McLaren. But fun, and also the exhaust pop when downshifting is just, it's amazing. So we're still racing here in a similar pack. There have been some cars that have already wrecked. We gained a few positions. I guess this was around P8 or P7 at this time. Unfortunately, I cannot see it in the board in a replay, but yeah. This is a really a corner that is fun to drive. You have to stay low at the beginning and then accelerate out of the very banked corner. There's also a version of Oulton Park without the chicanes. This guy gets a slowdown. That's why I'm able to overtake. That's if you cut something or if you go off track in certain positions. You gain another position. And
I'm
not trying to go really full beans here. I'm trying to drive safe here. This corner I'm almost a little bit slower. I could be earlier on the gas and just kind of hit the corner a bit nicer, but it's okay for now.
The leader, Stork.
Oh, and here I spin it because I get a slight hit by this guy. Unfortunate, sorry for this. But yeah, it's a kind of a hill. I'm trying to rejoin as safe as possible, and it's kind of a hill where you go over it, and this makes the car light, and with a rather tail happy car, it's a little bit hard to keep control. You have to steer straight when you accelerate, or to counter steer, and I didn't do that correct. It was too hard on the brakes. That's why the rear end overtook. This was the first mistake, not the only one I did in this race, unfortunately. But yeah, I didn't put so much practice into this track because this week I'm driving a club race in Flank, and we'll be driving Monza, and I've been practicing Monza with this car, with the Lamborghini also. And I just maybe had 2 days of practice on Oulton Park, never been driving this track before, so I'm okay with the performance so far, and how quick I can lap this track. If I would put maybe more practice into it, I could possibly get a better result, but I'm fine. It's yeah, I'll put my efforts on Monza. I said before, maybe I will also do IMSA race, because that is also Monza this week,
is leading the race,
which will be something new, because it's a multi-class race, and the GT3s are just slow, so it'll be there are GTs and LMP cars that are faster that will catch you up. Yeah, let's see how that will go, but I guess I'll do that later on in the week. And the track here, as I said, I really enjoy it. It has some tricky corners, or some corners where you need to kind of time it to hit the apex that you don't see before, or you need to know where to accelerate. And yeah, it's just I can't describe it, but it's just fun to drive. Also the chicanes, going that fast and braking hard, it's really fun. Even so, it's hard, and maybe not a track really to race and to fight with other cars. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's also fun just to drive on these tracks. And I think the tactic, in hindsight, is here you really not to make any mistakes, to keep the pace not too high, but not too high, and that would actually, I guess, be the best result that we could do. But we'll see at the end. So the car in front is a Ferrari with a funny livery. It looks like a Batmobile, which is kind of cool. There's some really nice liveries here in iRacing. And I'm kind of, after that spin, I'm kind of too cautious when going over that bump there, and that's I think it's I lost quite some time after that, but it's also something that will come with experience. To get quick back on track, and keep the pace high, or just to avoid the mistakes by itself. The track is actually also a little bit narrower than other tracks. No, it's not only smaller, and together with very cramped tracks, and it just makes overtaking very hard. So, or this can also happen if you go too far. It's not a crash or so, but it's a straightaway an off track, and you lose time, you lose positions very fast. it's still very, very fun, and you have to keep your the concentration high, like compared to Monza, where there's these long straights where you can kind of really relax and turn off your brain kind of while coasting. It's much more demanding here to keep the concentration and go full beans. But always a good practice, I think. The pit lane, if you look at the left side, is very short, and I've seen in other videos that certain cars, if you have the beginning of the pit, it's very hard to hit the lollipop man, because it's straight away after you get into the pit. You would have to turn to the left, and you have to brake more than cars that are going further. And also the lollipop man cannot be seen from when entering the pits. It's kind of tricky, but we'll see that later on when we will pit in this race. Of course, it's also a mandatory pit stop, as all VRS Sprint races, which makes it kind of fun to race. Here I made a mistake, and I could avoid a disaster. It looks like it was really a big I call it a big mistake, because I lose positions. But what happened was I got onto the track with the rear right, and normally you spin in the Lambo if you do that, if you get onto the grass. I was just lucky that I didn't accelerate then, but the car just moved and went straight on, and I was unable to brake in the chicane. And this was kind of good. I could avoid hitting something, hitting the chicanes or going straight, because I would have damaged the car. So I've just lost positions, and yeah, things happen. But as you can see here, 2 mistakes that could have easily been avoided if you would have more practice or more experience. And we could have kept a position more in front. So I'm happy with the speed kind of for my experience, and I just need really now to also work on consistency over the time, over the 40 minutes, not to make mistakes. Just overall driving. Yeah, that's certainly something that will come with time, I hope. And I said this, the Lamborghini, it's the newest GT3 car next to the BMW. They both came at the same time, and both very different cars. The BMW has I think the inline turbo engine with a lot of torque, and the Lamborghini has a V10 screaming 5.2 liter engine that is really loud and sounds nice, but different in the delivery of power. The Lamborghini is more of a kind of a ready engine, and the BMW has, as said, with the turbo, it has torque and it has punch out of the lower RPMs. And also because the the engine is in front of the BMW, it's a little bit easier to drive. It's more kind of oversteer, kind of understeering or pushy, but can also bite you if you accelerate too hard with the torque. The Lamborghini has a mid engine, and is kind of similar to the Audi, I guess, which is it's on or off power and on power. The car has more steering, but you can also get into an oversteer easy, and the oversteer is harder to catch and harder to control. So it's a little bit. I think it's skill-wise it's harder to drive than the BMW. And here we get to the inside of this guy, and are able to overtake him through the inside.
Like P2's gone off in Nickerbrook.
One of the really rare occasions where it's easy to overtake if somebody makes some mistakes, goes too high. You can basically have to really let off the gas, get slower to get down back into that chicane, similar to the carousel on the Nürburgring, where once you're on top, there's basically no way, you just lose time. People can easily overtake you when they go through the carousels or through that banked curve. And here also this corner can be taken a little bit faster, or could be taken a little bit faster, but just trying to avoid off tracks. You can really catch a lot of off tracks on this track, and I still want to kind of increase the iRating to and not lose iRating in this race. That's why I'm also careful. I also had I already had a contact and the 2 off tracks, I guess, so I try to keep them low. And just the overall feeling of the Lamborghini, you feel a little bit lower also. The car is quite wide, has a short wheelbase. Like compared to the BMWs that have longer wheelbases, and BMW has the view out of the car or out of the cockpit is just much higher, so it's a very different feeling when driving it. And I feel the Lamborghini feels more to me more like a race car, low, and it's just the feeling of the car is just great. And of course also the sound shifting and everything. If you hear it from the outside, you hear a really very loud pop and bang from the exhaust. It's just awesome. And we're around almost half of the race. Not quite. I'm kind of in a cruise mode where I'm trying to just do my laps. I've put in the max amount of fuel that I can. This track uses quite a lot of fuel compared to others, so I think with 60 liters
There's an incident in Old Hall. Looks like it's Simon.
I will get around maybe 2/3 of the time with the fuel. And luckily the back markers are really they let you through. They're very fair. And I think the guy in the back is slowly catching up.
That's 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, now I think it's around half of the race. I was also a little bit faster in not only in qualifying with low fuel, but in practice I could lap quicker. I was just a little bit driving with less pressure. Not afraid of doing off tracks or other things, but yeah, I was kind of slower in this race. Made a lot of mistakes where I went wide or just too cautious in some parts of the track. But yeah, it'll come with time. I think if I would do this race about 2-3 times more, then that would be also fine and get used to it. But I won't be driving it again, I guess, because as I said, Monza will be the race this weekend. Here I also go wide, but you can avoid going off track, and also with the cautious speed on the throttle, avoid any bigger mistakes. But as you can see, the AMG behind me is catching up. It's getting nearer. And this puts pressure on me. Also, I didn't hit this corner well here, very bad. So the guy's really getting close. But as long as I'm in the middle or in the side, it's hard for him to overtake. So I'm trying to focus again. Trying to get a kind of a nice exit, but didn't get it here. I feel this chicane normally I can hit it fairly good. But now he's close to my car and I'm getting too nervous and I'm going off track. And here I'm just sliding. This was very bad here. I hit the guy, tried to avoid him. It looked, if you look from the outside, it looks like I went on purpose. I hit him on purpose, but I was really sliding. I couldn't avoid him anyway, and he goes really wide. If he would have been just slipping and and maybe get back on the track. I would have given him the position, but now he's fallen back. He's very sorry to have ruined his race. But yeah, unfortunately shit happens. Here again, a very bad slide that costs me time. Luckily the guys behind me go into the pits. But I would really have to focus, get back into the race, get back into concentrating and hitting laps. And as I said, luckily there's no car behind me, so I kind of get focused just on driving and concentrating to you know, get clean laps again. This would be actually hard if there was traffic, a lot of traffic behind me. It would keep the pressure high and possibly to do more mistakes. And that's also something that I kind of have to practice on, to focus and even under pressure, stay calm, just do your rounds and get back into the zone where you can drive.
There's an incident in Druids. We think it might be Smith.
And it's now 24 minutes into the race. I'm just trying to lap to get the rounds in until to my pit stop. The pit stop is always kind of, for me, it's like kind of a reset. You get a short period, a few seconds here to relax, to do something else, and that's, for me, it's relaxing. Normally when I get out of the pits, I kind of refresh to lap some more, and I hope to be pitting maybe so that I have maybe 15 minutes left of racing. That's kind of a good amount for me to just drive, get a big part of it, big chunk of the race in, and then again pit, relax, do the rest of it, and maybe push for the rest. Even so, I don't think that I can gain a lot of positions here.
Alright Dave, 15 minutes left, that's 15 minutes.
It's more of keeping the speed up, and maybe I don't think that I can overtake anybody in the pits, because I'm now currently not lapping fast enough on the track.
Smith ahead,
but just now keeping the position.
4.6 seconds. Incident in Britons. It looks like Stork.
And I'm also trying to drive this corner faster now, trying to improve a little bit now that I'm alone, just to get the rhythm back before I get into the pits.
There's an incident in Cascades.
So this apex here is also quite, I feel it's hard to hit, or you need just experience to hit it, to get the full acceleration. Also here, I kind of know where to put the car, but it's kind of challenging to really get out of that these corners, the first two corners, nicely. This one is quite easy in the Lamborghini. It's a slight tap on the brake, and basically can go full beans. This chicane is really fun to drive, and also I feel in the Lamborghini it's also easy. I'm not sure how other cars feel, but here the goal is actually in the second chicane not to carry too much speed, so you go too far, as I did in a few instances. Here again, this part, try to apply the throttle earlier to get faster out of this corner onto this straight or bumpy straight. And
looks like P5's gone off in Old Hall.
the nice thing, I can just lap for myself here, which is good. Much easier to drive than if you're in pack. It's kind of like hot lapping.
The gap to Stork behind is now 3.4.
I think we're already at 9 incidents in this race, which is bad, but things happen. I was lucky that so far the car isn't really damaged. Just had slight contact, don't feel anything. And there's a BMW catching up from behind. As soon as I'm not lapping nicely anymore and doing any mistakes or so, he's getting nearer. But I will have to pit anyway. And I think the good thing is here.
Smith ahead is pitting.
Good thing is here, if I look at my opponents, also the guys with maybe 1.4k, some of them are faster, but they also do a lot of mistakes, or some of them do a lot of mistakes. So there's two ways of improving here, and one is consistency.
Okay, Dave, you're reeling. Smith in. The gap is 0.19.
Just by getting more consistence, I will have a better race. Or better races overall. I mean, of course there will be incidents and you will be hit by other cars sometimes, things just happen, but with consistency you will gain positions and get a higher iRating. And the other thing is the pace. If you get a faster pace or kind of keep the pace higher, then of course you will also progress. But I think it's
10 minutes left. Keep digging, this isn't over yet.
At this time I think I will improve more if I first get more consistent than try to get a much higher pace. Even so, I think both is a similar practice. If you lap more on a track, if you practice more on a track, then you will get both. You will get faster, a higher pace, and you will be more consistent, or it's easier to be consistent if you're just used to racing a track. And also, of course, with experience you get more consistent. But yeah, let's see what I can improve more. But I'll try to focus to be more consistent in future. Also, hindsight out of this race, yeah. With a new car that I'm not used to, or not so used to like the others, it's a little bit harder to drive, or doesn't let you do so much mistakes. But yeah. And here, let this guy catch up, and
Cascades.
As we have a back marker here, I have to overtake him. I didn't get the corner that well, and he also pulls through, so he's now behind me. I think this guy already came out of the pit in front of me, so certainly a car that is faster, because I will still have to pit. And I guess I lost this all with the incidents that I had with the off tracks, the two. Unluckily, but yeah, still the main thing in the game, and that's always is having fun. And this guy behind me tries to overtake, or he did try to overtake, and he also started flashing and stuff, but that's just to ruin your concentration. I'm not looking at anybody that is flashing that is also in the same race. If it's a car that is lapping, if it's a blue flag, of course you will let them pass, but not if you're in the same random racing. And if they're only marginally slower, that's their issue. They have to overtake us, yeah, because it's a race. And I have to pit now. And here you can see the pit lane. It's really cramped, and sometimes it's here on the right side. There's a lollipop man, and you see here, I cannot see him, and that's the issue. I went too far, and that's exactly why Oulton Park isn't good for this. I have to get back, I lose a lot of time here, and now I can pit. This is really too. There's much too many cars for this tight space, and here unluckily is the AMG that I was involved in the incidents. It's in the pits for repairs. Sorry again for him. But if you you couldn't see any
Exit looks clear.
where to stop here, and that was, yeah, you would need to have some external tools that tell you how far you have to drive. Maybe looking to install something like that for such races, but it's actually stupid that the game cannot, you know, show you where the pit is exactly, and I guess this is kind of a little bit not a track that is meant for 27 GT3 cars. It's just way too much cars, and two small pits, not a pit that's where you can see where to drive. Yeah. But so far we just commence, because all have to deal with the same issues in the pit lanes. And yeah, it's just what it is. Still a fun race, and of course that's the most important thing. To have fun, enjoy the racing, and so now I'm trying to get used to the pace again.
The car behind's pitting now.
I know that I will now be down to, I think, 30 liters for the end of the race that I'm going through, and that means the car should be quicker again, or should be quick again, and it's all about my skill. If I can put the pace, or have a good pace for this. So here, trying to hit this the exit better than before.
Okay, Dave. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes left.
And the exit is also, because it's on the inside, this corner is banked hardly, but on the outside it's not banked that much. So if you get too far on top of the outside of the corner, you will slip out of
The gap in front has increased.
or slide out of that corner, which is can be a bit annoying. That's just something that you need to learn on this track. I must try to use the whole track that I have got here. This time I think I was slowly getting a little bit tired. Kind of similar to Laguna Seca or also Oulton Park, just tracks where there's not space to relax, or to no straights to to breathe. And we're slowly catching the AMG again. That had the damage. Still, this guy would have been faster than me. That's why I feel bad for him. That I kind of caused his race to be ruined. Here, a very fair driver. As backmarker, he lets me pass through. Even so, I was the guy that wrecked him. And even so, he still has a fairly good pace for with a damaged car. I mean, I don't know how much damage it is, but he can keep up mostly. And also, if I'm doing mistakes or not trying to clean.
pulling away from the guy behind. The gap's now 16 seconds.
If I look at the back, I said 16 seconds ahead of P11, and so that means I've actually no pressure now. I just need to get it home.
Just 2 minutes left. 2 minutes to go.
Just need to get my laps done. And also, if I look, to the front, even so I'm by far not the fastest driver, so I'm kind of midfield here, I guess lap-wise. Without the mistakes, I guess I would have been somewhere P5 around-ish. And that's what I think.
Incident in Druids.
What I've seen, or what I've learned from this race, it would have been important to be consistent. I mean, yeah, it's always important to be consistent, but really to, think about, hey, most important is to get laps in. A mistake will always cost you much more than a slow lap, or than maybe a few tenths that you lose, or maybe half a second, doesn't matter. An incident or going off track is always costs you much more at the end, and it's harder to catch that up.
There's an incident in Cascades.
I almost go too wide here, but it was okay. I'm just trying to lap the last few laps kind of consistently if possible. And this guy, also a legend, lets me pass through the insides. It's kind of still hard. You need to focus to stay in the inside, because the accelerator, if you go full beans, then the car will go out. So to be fast. But it's a good practice on this track. Let's say if you can drive here and also get used to traffic and stuff, I think it will only be better on the larger tracks, because races will always be crowded and we'll always have other cars, and so it's kind of the fun part. This was a little bit... I thought it was a little bit late, but that's fine. So we're now, I think, past 40 minutes. I think the white flag should be out next lap or so. Still, I'm trying to lap consistently, but as I said here, I'm kind of getting tired slowly. This is exactly what I meant. If you go a little bit to the outside, the car is carried out, and that means I'm losing, get another off track. I think that I was now at 9 incidence points overall.
The gap to
and
ahead is
yeah,
increasing. It's now 6.3.
That's something that you kind of should avoid, and that's just concentration, lack of experience. But now just a couple of rounds that we need to finish, and also here not hitting perfectly. But I kind of I feel it's also good if you lose the concentration, or if you haven't if you're not on full concentration anymore, you kind of sometimes have to approach it different, or I do it like that, and it helps kind of take a safer line for a while, just to relax, and then try to push again, or to go full beans if you feel okay again. So this is the last lap. We got the white flag. Still in P10, and at this time I was happy. I knew this would be a positive iRating. Not sure about security rating, because I was not sure if how many incident points I had, and I had one at the end. And it's always worse if you have incidents at the end than in the beginning. The way the system with the safety rating works. So just this lap to complete, and just driving home, not risking anything anymore. And the last bend that I could spin, possibly, I guess. And onto the straight, and we complete this race on P10. Strength of field 1373, as you can see. I was car 21, so wasn't meant to be one of the top cars, but it worked out. I'm happy with the race, and I'm looking forward to the next races. So next thing will be Monza. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe. Bye bye.